spiel intro is we met 2014, me and you. You probably don't remember the date. So
Right.
it's 2014. I'm 3 years decorating cakes. I'm now going around doing the publicity tour for TLC
Right.
for Next Great Baker.
Right.
I show up to News 12, which at that point is almost like being on the Today Show for me. It
For
was
Long
yeah.
Island,
I
yeah.
walked in. You're there. You, Elisa, Elizabeth, and Sam is doing weather.
Let me just pause you for a
Go ahead.
second. When you're putting your hand up like this, put your hand up.
It focuses on my hand.
No, it's just in her. It's totally
Oh,
in her
got
hand.
it.
So just giving you a heads up
Yep.
before you get too far.
I'll be less Italian.
Well, just use your left hand.
All right, so it's you four, and we come on, and it went great. You guys could not have been any kinder. But what my preconceived notion of what you guys were, and then afterwards, the branches that were kept being pushed out to me from all of you guys, not gatekeepers at all. No, you guys were not gatekeepers. You were in the rooms with all the Long Island people already. You guys had access. And the natural thing for the people in that position, which I've found still, is you wait there and the opportunities I've gotten because of you, Elisa, Elizabeth, over the years, still get a phone call from all of you if there's any opportunity. And that's not normal. And that is why I love you. And that's why I asked you to come here, because you're not full of shit. There is no ulterior motive. You're not doing me the favor because you need a favor. Yeah. But that is who you are. And you clearly trained the two that were coming behind you. They operated in the same energy as you because I'm sure they got to watch you operate at News 12 for so long.
Do you know what's so interesting about that? I mean, we're together all the time.
Yeah,
We
still.
had Elizabeth's daughter's last high school play, and Allie had the lead. And we were all there. They showed up. We had, as you know, Connor's baby shower, rather, a week before that. Elizabeth was getting on a plane in 4 hours,
Right.
but she and Elisa showed up for an hour. So we show up for each other. So it's what we did then. And, you know, there's a Spanish word, adelante, and it means when I get forward, I reach out and I bring you forward with me. And that's what we continue to do for each other.
Yeah, but it's so rare that it's so noticeable now when somebody does it. Rising tides raises all the boats. That is not the way things are working right now. The way things are working right now is I worked hard to get in this room, and I'll let you know when you can get in. And it's so evident with everybody right now, but it was refreshing. And I try to be the same thing for if I get access to anything. I try and allow people access because it was an example, a thing that was given to me in the beginning from you guys and from a few other people in the industry that now it's important to me to pay it forward to the people looking for a way in, man. The way in is the thing. Once you're in the room, you realize we're all stressed out. We're all struggling with something. Long Island property taxes are breaking our backs, and our kids are not. We're all in, but when I'm in this room and everybody cool is in the other room, I go, man, that's a much better room. But it's all the same once everybody allows each other in the same room. But that was our first meeting. And it's the day I almost quit. Your career, your faith runs deep, and health things that you had been through in the past few years really lend itself to the energy of this podcast. We can talk about whatever you want to talk about. Our conversations usually end up on the Wichita linemen talking about the greatest songs in the world, but our conversations will lead to whatever they lead to. And you could start off, I think a great place to start off would be not chronologically with, we were talking about before we started recording, the day you got your diagnosis and how news like that could destroy you, break your back, put you in a fetal position. And what your immediate reaction was to it, and how that maybe somebody hearing that never would think to do that could help. So take me to, what's the date? You're in the doctor's office. Where are we? What's going on?
September 18th, 2019.
Okay.
Not that I remember the date.
Yeah.
I had a cough that didn't go away for 2 years. My pulmonologist, who was a bright young guy, all of a sudden joined one of the larger health systems. And so that in 2018, he joined, and by 2019, I would go with this cough that he called seasonal, and I was treated for reflux. And I would go to see him as needed, and all of a sudden, he's in the larger health system, and I couldn't see him in September of 18, but I could see his PA. And then 4 months later, I couldn't see the PA or see the doc. I was going to see the NP. And now a full 4 months later, which is a year later, it's now September of 2019.
Right.
I'm coughing like crazy on the air. And I say on the air, oh, I hope I get to see my doctor today. Got off the air, made a phone call, and they said, come right in. And I got there, and in this new office of his is a huge wall of a television. And I'm still on because I'm recorded,
Right.
and I'm coughing.
Once an hour, coughing.
And once a word, it was coming out
Got
like
it.
that. I mean, it was bad. And he's waiting at the glass door for me. And he goes, come on, I'm going to do an x-ray. Like, we're not even going inside first. We're going to do the x-ray. And I saw his face turn gray. And I knew.
You knew.
And he said, we're going to go to my office now. I said, I'm going to stop at the restroom. And by the time I got to my office, he was dictating mass in my left lung. I had a series of tests. Thank goodness that I had coached the son of the new head of the Cancer Institute at Northwell. So I called him. He used to be number 2 at Sloan Kettering, and then he came closer to home. So now here he is. He's running this new Cancer Institute at Northwell. So I called Dr. Rich Barricat, Rich, and I'm like, hey, Rich, it's Coach Carol. Can you help a coach out? And he said, sure. And he set me up with all kinds of tests. September 18th, I meet my oncologist, Dr. Naga Sitharamu. I'm sitting here. Bob is on this side. My friend Kathy, a nurse, is on this side. And Dr. Sitharamu says, you have stage 4 cancer, a golf ball-sized tumor in your lung has spread to 12 more in your brain. And there was like silence in the room for a brief second until we all heard, thank you, God, for my healing. And everybody turned around and looked at me. Dr. Sitharamu, her PA, my best friend Kathy, Bob, everybody looked, and I was like, wow. It's pretty good. Thank you, God, for my healing. I didn't say, oh, no, my daughter's getting married in April. Oh, no, this. Oh, no, that.
Had you ever said that before in your life?
Never.
Never one
Never.
time?
Not
Never
once.
had never, nothing.
No reason to say
Got
it.
it.
And it was just, that was the result of everything that was put into me my entire life. And it's not like I had a perfect life, because I didn't. But my mother was spiritual. She was a church lady. My mother was spiritual. She went to mass every morning. When they could afford it, they started sending us to Catholic schools. So what we learned at home was reinforced in elementary school, and then in Holy Family, and then reinforced in Holy Trinity. And then I went to college, and I was not so much, all about God and church and all that, but it was with me. It was definitely with me, but I was not a churchgoer all the time. I do have to say, the one semester that I spent at the University of Dayton in Ohio, one of the biggest social events was Sunday night mass at 10 o'clock. It was so crowded in that chapel on that campus that you had to leave your shoes at the front door in the lobby, in the vestibule of the church.
What do you think the motivation for the kids to go to church was without their parents around?
It was the former St. Mary's, so it was St. Mary's Chapel.
Okay.
And it was a great social event, but colleges, can be a tough time.
No, I know. Oh, yeah, I
And
get
it was a peaceful place, and the way that they spoke to the students was comforting. And the whole campus didn't go there, but there were hundreds of kids, and you hope when you left you got both of your shoes. So it was put into me, and right after college, after I ended up graduating back here on Long Island, I ran into a friend of mine in the parking lot of a bar in East Meadow, and I said, Robbie, I had gone to New York Tech. I finished at New York Institute of Technology. 92%, 8% women. 92% men, 8% women. Right. So, of course, everybody knew the women, especially because I was a communications major.
Right.
It was, kind of technical. And I got out of the car and I saw him and I said, Robbie. And he said, Carol, what are you doing here? What are you doing since graduation, 4 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And I said, I'm reading my Bible. And he said, I am too. And I went home and I met his mother and we got involved in building on that foundation of faith that had started. We started a Christian coffee house in St. Bridget's School in Westbury. But then I went away for a while. It was kind of this in and out thing. But it was never far away from me. And I find that my faith is a great place that I was getting the day that I got 3 hours of brain radiation. You want me to tell you the story now?
Yeah, but I have a quick question.
Yes.
Go back to that. That diagnosis that he gave you, she, the lung and the brain.
Right.
What's the survival? Now we do some, you and your husband now are going to go and see, okay, what is it that we're really dealing with? What's the survival rate at that point? Who comes through this?
It's interesting because I never asked that question because I knew I would.
Right. You
So
didn't
I
want
never
to know.
asked that question.
Yeah.
No, not even that I didn't want to know. That question didn't appear
You
to
knew
me.
you were going through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to be okay. And I mean, as I say to people, look at me now.
Well, you look better now. You look incredible. It's
Six
crazy.
and a half years later.
Well, it's the not getting up at 2:00 in the morning either anymore.
Sleeping beyond that. Yes,
Yes,
sleep's
but-
definitely a help.
Have you now,
Am I in remission?
after now, your health is now, do you now know when other people get this diagnosis, the norm is not, this is not
Yeah.
what happens, right?
Yeah.
This is not.
I mean, some people complain, complain or worry about a broken toenail. And seriously,
Right, right,
I
right.
mean, I seriously mean that.
I know.
And I'm two different people twice in the past 2 days, literally about a toenail. So I know that that's not everybody, but that's okay.
Right.
Because it's me, and I think there's reason for everything. I think that we are given opportunities in life to be an inspiration to somebody else. I mean, we were in Canada a week ago, and while we were there, I got an email from a fellow saying, listen, my wife has the same diagnosis as you did, watched you on News 12 for years, guessed your email. What's the chance you can talk to us? I talk to complete strangers about it. And I connect them with people. I encourage them. The first thing that my doctors said to me, each one, and I have a dozen doctors, the first thing that the doctors say to me is, your attitude is so great. It's going to be so helpful to you. Because I'm not walking around moaning. And I have children. I have 3. And I had a daughter who was getting married. And I had just retired. And, I thought I was going to de-Christmas that Christmas
Right.
slowly. And then Connor was getting married in April. And then
So
COVID
this is the end of 2019. How does this battle go through COVID? Like,
It's tough.
How
it was
is that?
tough. It was challenging because after that, I had to go to many appointments by myself.
Right.
Bob couldn't be there. I had to go to many appointments. When I finished the first round of brain radiation and I got to whack the crap out of that gong, Bob couldn't be there.
right.
When I left, he had ordered what we all relied on during COVID. He had ordered a mini gong, and we went home and we hit the gong
Right.
together. And but there was a lot of time for all patients to be alone.
Never surgery. Only you did.
I had some surgery.
Got it.
I've had radiation. I have drugs that change. I've had 5 reoccurrences. So I'm a 6-time cancer
Got it.
survivor.
Since.
Yes. Yeah.
And
I'm a
how
6-time
often are you getting checked?
I get checked all the time.
Yeah.
I probably go every 3 months.
Can you feel it now? You don't feel not right?
No.
You don't even know?
No, because it's like a little bit secret,
Yeah.
there can be a sparkle or twinkle someplace. It can be a single cell
Yeah.
that will manage to get somewhere. There is cancer in my body, but there's something called NED, no evidence of disease. And if it hasn't manifested somewhere, I mean, I could live like this forever.
Right.
In 1950, a post-World War II doctor came to Oyster Bay, and I heard his son speak last year. And he said, well, my dad came to Oyster Bay at the end of World War II and decided this is where he's going to set up shop. And he was going to see if he could tackle that cancer thing. He had 5 drug choices. The last time I saw Dr. Sitharamu, she said, okay, so your protein levels are going up a little bit, like something's happening right now. So they're going up a little bit. We're going to figure it out. 2 new drugs were approved 2 days ago, and there's another drug that's going to be approved tomorrow. So we have choices. We can double the one that you're on right now, one of the 2 that you're on right now. We're going to do some testing. We're going to figure it out. So, I mean, the weapons in the warfare against cancer are incredible, which brings me back to Elizabeth and Elisa. When I was diagnosed, the drugs that I'm on, even though I'm being treated by Northwell, are drugs that were trialed at Memorial Sloan Kettering. And every year they have a cycle for survival. And Elizabeth, Elisa show up. My son now does the ride with me. His girlfriend does the ride. It's a 4-hour ride.
Yeah.
And it raises money for rare cancer research, which is the kind that I have. And it's also every childhood cancer is considered a rare cancer. But, everybody around me just keeps showing up for me.
Well, this is not by accident. This is exactly what I spoke about. When you go as many years as you did, opening as many doors for as many people as you have, when there's an opportunity to get behind you and support you, people show up. How many times have I showed up to a party and nobody's there? Like, you go, oh man, this guy worked, a couple of friends, a couple of work people show up and you go, yeah, that's kind of sad. But you continue to have people show up because you have showed up relentlessly over the years for the church, for work, schools your kids were in, your friends. And that is, I've had no male role models in my life. And I don't say that, and I've had only great females in my life.
Absolutely.
From the day I was, my mother and my grandmother in my house.
Aunt Nancy, who I knew,
I
taught pre-K with.
My aunt, which is another crazy story, but I'll tell that right after this. The aunts that surrounded me, then my wife, 2 daughters, my friend Meredith, who made the phone call to ask me to make a cake.
Yep.
The shop of women that have filled my shop, that have gotten me to this point, all the women that have become part of my team, for whatever reason, I am aligned with the female figure for advice, guidance, partnership, whatever it is. I was never given that. I never was changing oil in the driveway and in the car, and we were not playing catch. But there's a Sunday sauce. There are life lessons that were learned, but it just continued my whole life. I gravitated towards the strong female energy, people like you, who I recognized immediately because of the relationships I valued as a kid. People like you, it was immediate. It was an immediate, I know this energy. This is, so that's why I became friendly with you. And you were, I don't want to say mentor because you weren't in my industry, but you were always free with the advice. You always would give more than it was asked, and you would always give the valuable little something. There was always something when we had a conversation, and you would give me the heads up. You'd be like, that person, they look like they like you, but be careful. Like, you always gave me the valuable lessons. And the crazy thing was, we were out one night. We were at Elisa's birthday party, and we were having a conversation, and we were talking about church, which seems to be an undercurrent because I'm always curious about people's relationship with God and what they believe and don't believe. And we were talking about your relationship with the church and that you taught pre-Caner. And I said, where do you teach pre-Caner? And you said, Oyster Bay. And I said, oh, my aunt teaches pre-Caner in Oyster Bay. And in non-typical fashion, and I didn't know you well enough yet, you pushed me like Elaine Bennis from Seinfeld, and you said, "Get the fuck out of here!" And you pushed me so hard, and you
I'm
said,
sorry.
"No, don't be sorry. That is what makes you you." That's and you said, "Nancy Akampora is your aunt?" And I said, "Yes." And you said, we taught pre-Caner together for years, and you started to tell me stories about my aunt. My aunt was the most positive,
Yeah.
always on the bright side. Do what you want to do. You want to be an artist, you be an artist. And listen, back then, not too many people were giving you that kind of advice.
Yeah, post World War II, it's like go get a job, go do something
get a
safe.
pension, take
Right.
care of your family.
Right.
And listen, back then, I mean, you know better than me, how many families back then, you were growing up, the husband worked, the wife was home.
Yeah.
That was the norm.
that was my
And
neighborhood.
he wasn't a Wall Street guy.
Yeah.
He was mailman, cop, fireman.
Yep.
And he was home, and the wife never worked. Sent his kids to school, college, bought a car. They went on vacation on Long Island. This
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
a normal thing back then. That's not even. I mean, you say that now, people look at you like the mailman is
Yeah.
going to buy a house, and
Yeah.
his wife's not going to work, and he's going to send his kids to college. It's just not. It's out of whack. But my aunt, even before, always was that thing like, don't worry about what these people do. What you want to do what makes you happy, but always was realize why the good things are happening for you. She always wanted you to know somebody's looking down. This is not by accident. Things are happening for you for a reason, good and bad. And she always led with kindness and love, and there was always a religious energy to her. She wanted you to know God was present for you if you want.
There you go.
Yeah.
Available.
If you
Just
want the
ask.
relationship, she always let you know. If you want the relationship,
Yeah.
God is there for you. And you have done the same over the years for me. You never do the holy roller. What are you doing? Like you'll always put it in a very poetic Hallmark sort of way where it's a warm feeling, not a guilt.
This is what I think. I think that I am an example in that moment, in what had the potential to be the worst moment of my life. I am an example of what a steady diet of eating something positive, feeding my soul something positive, of kind of where the payoff is.
You do also know a lot of religious people that are not
Yes,
there's an
absolutely.
edge.
That
How
is
dare
me.
he do this to me?
But that's me, and I think that a lot of that is choice.
Right.
I think a lot of that is choice. It's not just about faith. I mean, if I'm going to sleep and my mind's starting to spin and I'm thinking about money or my kids or whatever those things are, I immediately try to counterbalance that with, what are 3 good things that you did today? What's one? Make at least one of them something good that you did for somebody else. What did you do that was good for somebody else today? What did somebody do that was good for you today? And all of a sudden, my blood pressure starts to come down. And I'm human. I have those same financial concerns on Long Island, health concerns on Long Island, aging concerns on Long Island. I have a daughter who lives out of state who's about to have a baby. How am I going to balance all that? And all of a sudden I go, wait a minute, I don't have to do this alone. I don't have to do this alone. God, you're taking this walk with me, right? Right. And that soothes me. I feel it as I'm saying it. As I was giving you that list of potential things that so many of us share, I could start to feel it a little bit in my stomach, honestly. And, not in a hyper kind of way, but when you start to list negative things and you repeat those negative things, I say try and wash them out by also adding the good things. When our kids would get home from school, I would say that not how was school, but what's something good you did for somebody else today? to teach them
Yeah.
that mindset.
Focus on the good stuff. It's not as easy. It's much easier to twist your brain in a knot. Do you think so? You're starting your career, right? You come out of college. You're any inkling that I want to be an on-air person? Like you're gonna go into News 12. Like what is the? You're gonna get on the radio. No plan, or you have a. Just like when you got your diagnosis, I'm gonna beat this. Did you sit there and go, oh yeah, I'm gonna be. The camera's gonna be on me, and I'm gonna get to do this. And
Well-
at that point, how many women were really doing it? Was
Like almost none.
it- right.
Like I was the only woman in the room, sometimes with hundreds of men.
Yeah.
So, Dad was 20-year military. He was a Marine Corps medic, came out as a pharmaceutical salesman. We didn't have a lot of money.
He lived till what age? your dad?
73.
Okay.
We end up, we're living in this house in Hicksville, and they sent us, once he got out of the military, that was when all of a sudden there was room for us in the Catholic elementary school, so we went in. And then we went to Holy Trinity after that, and they paid for us to go there. And then I had two cousins from Garden City who were in Fairfield, and Fairfield had just started accepting women. And I had gone up there with my girlfriends to visit my boy cousins, and I thought, oh, this is a great place. And then they were taking women. And I got that letter. I applied and I got that letter, and I said, look at this. I got accepted to Fairfield. And my parents said, we don't have the money to send you there. You have to go to Nassau Community College. Like
At
your
that
brother
point,
did."
what is college? What is a tuition at that point? What are we talking about a year?
Honestly, I don't remember.
Couple of $1,000?
Yeah,
Yeah.
5,000 a year.
Yeah.
I mean,
Which
something.
could it? Which should it? Would it was 30,000?
But Nassau Community College was
Hundreds.
Yeah, exactly, hundreds. So my parents said, you're going to go to Nassau Community like your older brother. So disappointment number one of the worst days of my life. I go to Nassau, and I'm finishing the 2 years. I'm applying now. Where am I going to go to school? My safety school is New York Tech. Now, one of my best friends from high school is at University of Dayton. I applied there, and they're like, yeah, we'll take you. We'll take all your credits except for archery and kick line, but we'll take like all the rest of your credits. I go out there with Joanne 11 days before. I move into a house that we're going to live in together. We party for 9 days, and I go to register then 2 days before classes start. That's when the transfers could register. And they look at all my credits and go, yep, we're going to take them all. You have 3.5 years left to school. I said, 3.5 years? I have 2 years left. They said, no, you have 3.5 years. You need microeconomics. You need macroeconomics. You need all this math stuff. No way. I get in my car, but before I do, I call New York Tech and I said, do you still have that spot? Do you still have my 50% scholarship? And they said yes. I get in the car after calling my parents and saying, I'm coming home. We don't have the money. I don't have the money for 3.5 years. I have it barely for 2. I go home. I go to New York Tech. Now all of a sudden I'm in a school that is 92% men, 8% women, as a public relations major. I'm not sure what I want to
You'll
do.
figure it out.
I'm a PR major. I'm going to represent Adidas. So I end up having to take Radio 101, TV 101, because if you're going to represent a product in public relations, you have to know kind of how radio, TV works, how newspaper works. My final first semester junior year in Radio 101 is a 15-minute radio show. You have to produce it. You have to engineer it. You have to know what law is, FCC laws, and you have to write and deliver a 5-minute newscast. The whole semester, this professor who I had named Neil Martin kept saying, you are so good. You have such a great voice. You're good. You're good. And I thought, this school is 92% men. Of course, like a woman's voice
Right,
is going to sound
stands
good
out.
to you. I do the radio show. I get and so I get an A in the course. It's now December of my junior year. I get a phone call from Dayton. Oh my God, we made a mistake. We put you in the School of Business. Come back. The next day, I'm in class at Tech, and Neil Martin, Professor Martin, says to me, there's a guy in the radio lab who wants to talk to you. I go in, it's Frankie Ciorda from WABC, and he says to me, how'd you like to work at WBAB, the rock station? And I said,
You had recorded one show at this point? No.
I recorded one project.
One thing.
One project. How would you like to work? I never sent it to them.
Right.
how'd you like to work at WBAB? And I said, I don't know. I'm working in the Salty Dog right now, waitressing there. I'm making a lot of money. I don't want to give that up. Or do I want to go away to school? I go home and I decide I'm going away to school. I go to Dayton. I figure I'm going to get on the radio station in Dayton
Right.
because they want me in New York. I'm going to get, all of a sudden, I'm going to be on the radio. I'm going to start doing news or be on the radio, do whatever. I get out there, the positions are all filled at the radio station, including Joanne, who is the secretary in the radio station, my one of my best friends. She's at the radio station. I come home for the summer and I think, you know what? I can go back to the Salty Dog, but I also wonder if they ever found anybody to fill that position at BAB, for 35 cents an hour. I go back, the position's open. I start to work there through the summer, and I thought, wow, I love telling other people's stories. I love finding out about them. Everybody has a story. Sometimes people think like I'm nosy.
What's the format at BAB at that time? Is it music mixed with talk? Or
Total rock, and we have some newscasts that we do and
Got
a
it.
couple of news shows on the weekend. So I tell Dayton I'm not coming back. There's a trunk that I left, as was culture in Dayton, a camp trunk.
Yeah.
Filled with my sheets and my towels somewhere in the house that I used to live in, 16 Lawn Lane in Dayton, Ohio. It's floating around somewhere there because I never went back to get it.
What is your dad's opinion of this choice to go work on the radio? Was he supportive? Wanted you to work?
Well, I have a year and a half left of college.
Right.
So I have a year left of college. So yeah, I'm working 2 jobs now.
Yeah.
I'm working at BAB.
Military kid.
And exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm working at the Salty Dog, and I'm going to school full time at New York Tech. So they're all about it. My parents they're all about it. And I end up graduating from there, from New York Tech. I end up at the end of graduation. Now it's September after graduation. And all of a sudden, everybody's got either a full-time job or they're going back to school if they're a little bit younger than I am. And I'm like, oh, crap. I need a full-time job. And I wasn't learning that much at BAB. There was one other person in the news department, and it was more rock and roll radio. And I realized I needed to know journalism. So I started applying everywhere. Finally, WGBB in Merrick. They used to have the Pet Patrol where if you lost your dog, it was an AM radio station. You would call them and
Right.
we would find dogs. And it was
What's the footprint of that channel? Like how far? Who's hearing that?
GBB covered the southern half of Nassau County. So
Okay.
a lot.
Yeah, big.
Hundreds of thousands of people. And WGSM was on the Nassau-Suffolk border, Melville. It was right where Route 110 meets the northern state. So that was there. And then WALK covered the rest of
rest.
Suffolk County. So we used to feed each other. Literally in the morning, we would feed each other news stories that, we would cover, put the carts in, feed them on the on the phone, that kind of thing. So I start to look for work. And the news director at GBB says, hey, if I had a job right now, I'd hire you tomorrow. You have a great voice. And that to me was not a no. That to me was
That's the sign.
find a way to stay in touch. And so every about 6 weeks, I would call him and I'd say, hey, you know that story that happened in Paris? Here's the Long Island angle. Hey, you know that thing that happened in Saudi Arabia? Here's the Long Island angle. Hey, you know about this? Or, I was thinking that this would be a great story. He ended up hiring me about 4 months later saying, I've got to hire you so you stop calling
Yeah,
me.
you're out working his workers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And exactly. And I want you to stop calling me. I walk into the newsroom, it's 7 men rather, and me. I'm the only woman.
What's the pushback?
The glass.
Did you find they didn't take you serious in the beginning, or?
They didn't, but I was probably not to be taken seriously yet because I
Right.
didn't know as much as they did. They had gone through schools as journalism majors. And so, I think that some of that
We
was
spoke
definitely
about
there.
people that opened doors for you. Was there a person that stays in your mind at that point that really did right by you?
Ed Grilly,
Yeah.
the guy who hired me, who I ran into during COVID at Elisa Di Stefano's restaurant. We were the only 2 couples in there, literally Ed and his wife and Bob and I. And I walked in, and it was cold too. It was one of the winters of COVID. And I walked in, and I said, "Oh my God, Ed!" And I looked at his wife, Maureen, and I said, "Maureen, every time I see him, I say thank you, Ed. Thank you for starting my career. Like thank you for really giving me." And he said something he had not said to me in more than 30 years. He said, "Well, I was getting a little pressure from Susquehanna to, that was the radio corporation
Right.
that owned GBB, to hire a woman." And I go, "Oh, and I was a Mexican-American woman, so I was like a double bone." He'd never said that to me. I thought it was purely my voice and my way. But it was such a great learning experience. My first job with them was to be out in the field before I became an anchor, was to go out in the field. And I remember walking into, there's a big room in the Nassau State Supreme Court building where if you've ever been on jury duty, you know that big building, that big room where you all sit. But then there's a hallway, and at the end of that hallway is the press room. And it's people from newspaper and probably now, from different social media sites. But it was the New York Post, the Daily News, the Long Island Press, UPI, AP, all these people. And I walk into the room for the first time. I'm 21 years old, not 22 yet. And I walk in and I'm like, oh crap, I'm kind of scared. And I look all the way around and it's men, gray-haired men, and nobody looks up. And I finally get to the corner and I went, "Coach!" My high school swim coach, Pat Milton, was working for AP at the time. So she probably helped me. She's the one who also taught me that lesson, that no is just the first round of negotiations. That's it. No is the first round of negotiations.
There were 3 huge no's for me that I'm so grateful for when I first started this thing. And listen, I used it as motivation. One guy, and nobody's going to do you any favors. Nobody's going to be kind to you. You're coming looking for a job, and
Yep.
I can remember the 3 conversations. I could smell the room. I could feel the office. The one guy, I worked 1 week, and he handed, you do like a 1-week trial.
Right.
And now I'm not a kid. I'm in my 40s, and he hands me the check, and he goes, "I lost money this week with this check." So,
Ooh.
yeah, and I went, fuck. Not something you want, like.
Yeah.
And he basically said,
Not working out.
"Not gonna work here." And
Was it in a bakery?
yeah,
Yeah.
this is when I'm
'Cause
first.
you're in your
Yeah,
40s,
I'm
yeah,
in
and
my
you had
40s,
already
and I'm trying.
left
So I'm going to
the
the
shoe
top,
company.
the big dogs, and I want to work. I want to learn, and he said, "I lost money this week." And then another guy told me, "You're not worth the money you're looking for." And I remembered, I could smell it. And they were probably right at the time.
Yeah.
And I'm so new, they're
Yeah.
probably right. And you know what? I needed them to see my vision. How dare they not understand my vision? But I'm grateful for them now. I tell the story of my 5th grade teacher all the time, Mr. Goodwin. And I hope he hears, I tell this story so often, I don't know if he's alive, I hope he's alive. Mr. Goodwin, PS 79, Whitestone, Queens, 5th grade. How significant King Tut is to me, that King Tut was my first cake. We were going on the King Tut exhibit in Manhattan. It was in Manhattan, I'm in the 5th grade. So I don't even know what year that is, but
You're 10.
He pulls me on the side. Now I'm a 5th grader. This
Yeah.
is a full-grown man. Now back then, afro, beard, glasses, stereotypical welcome back Cotter.
Right.
Like,
Right.
And he goes, "I just want you to know before we get on the bus, you don't deserve to go on this trip.
Wow.
You're going to go because this class is going. You do not deserve to go on this trip. This is a privilege, and you have done nothing to deserve it."
Okay.
And I mean,
So
well,
he didn't tell you don't deserve it because you're worthless. He told you maybe
I didn't
that
earn it.
You don't deserve this because you didn't earn it.
you didn't
Okay.
earn this trip.
Okay.
This is King Tut exhibit.
Yep.
That stayed with me. Well, clearly it stayed with me. I'm still talking about it
Yep.
to this day. But a few years ago, as I started now, my business was taking shape and everything, I realized that guy did me a favor.
Yep.
He did me a favor. He looked at me and said, you're going, but you really don't deserve to go, which was the same thing that had happened early on with this cake thing. They said, no, this is not, you have this idea in your head of one thing, and what you're portraying is not that. I was looking for this much money, and I probably was worth this much money. Mr. Goodwin said that to me, And I'm so grateful. That was fuel. I used that for 35, 40 years. That drove me.
Yeah.
I'm going to show this guy, I never saw him again,
That's a male influence.
but I'm so, well, and I
But
guess
that's a significant male influence.
that's the only memory I have of my 5th grade year.
Yeah.
I was in a school had lost me at that point. They weren't doing anything to keep my attention.
Right.
And that was whoever, it was my mind, my artistic brain.
Yep.
I didn't care about math or, whenever it was an art project, I'm all in. But I was not interested in what they were selling for years. And the problem for me also was I passed with no effort.
Right.
I could pass.
Right.
I went through, I was in Holy Cross, all boys high school. And I don't say it proudly. I read one book in high school from cover to cover, Lord of the Flies. And it's still one of my favorite. I love it.
And you loved it.
I probably would have 100 favorite books if I actually read them in high school, but I never read a book cover to cover, but I read Lord of the Flies. It was not the school was not my thing. Traditional schooling was not my thing. But that Mr. Goodwin story stays with me, and I hope it finds him at some point, and I could say thanks for your honesty. I think that most kids don't get that honest. The teachers now can't say that,
Yeah.
right?
Oh.
They're handcuffed.
Yes.
And
I
you
have 2
can't
kids
tell-
who are teachers. Yes.
You can't tell a kid he doesn't deserve
Yeah.
the thing, because now the parent will show up with the lawyer and you'll lose
Yeah.
your job. But I only had honesty growing up. My mother, still with us, amazing,
Beautiful.
on fire,
Beautiful.
She's on fire daily. Has a task. She has the task written down the night before, and that today she will, if it's tile for the kitchen or paint the crown molding, open the pool. She's 83 and she's doing it all herself.
Love it.
That was who raised me. My
Yeah.
mother was, you get up, you show up, you work. You get up, you show up, you work. You get up. Somebody will eventually notice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, somebody's going to eventually notice. And if they don't, it doesn't matter. You get up, you show up. Your responsibility to show up, do the job, and work. And that was because of the year my mother, my mother's from the 40s.
Right.
Like, this is a different kind of human. That resonates with me and still resonates with me. And I try to pass it on to my kids in a more modern way. Your messages that you received, I'm sure you have given them to your kids in a different wrapping with a different bow on it. It's not.
Do you know what my kids have told me, though, in the past? We had interns at News 12, and there was one semester where I had 2 interns, and these girls would walk down the hall, and they were writing down everything I was saying. And I said this at home one night. They were writing down everything. And if I stopped short, they bumped into each other. I mean, seriously. The phrase in my house became, tell it to your interns, Mom.
Yeah.
Tell it to your interns.
I don't have my pad and pen.
But my daughter called me from school one day. She's a teacher. She called me from school one day and she said, oh, the most horrible thing happened. And I said, what's that? And she said, I became you. Your words came out of my mouth. Your words came out of my mouth to the class, and I realized
It's satisfying.
Yeah,
if that's something penetrated and you could actually see it.
I want to go back to that thing about the worst things that happened, though, the no's in our life. If I had been allowed to go, if we found a way to send me to Fairfield, I never would have had the career that I did. I would not have had the opportunity to do the kind of good that I've done in this world. I ended up leaving GBB because when I went to WGBB, the Pet Patrol station, where Ed Grilly hired me, in part with some corporate pressure, apparently. But when I got there, I filled the post of Larry Bosman, who had moved on to WLIR. So when he left LIR, I applied to WLIR, and I ended up working at WLIR, another great rock station on Long Island. And one of the DJs said, Cablevision is starting there's a company, small company, Cablevision is starting this news magazine, and it's going to be called, I don't know, News on Long Island, whatever it was. And it was maybe like 83. And I applied, and I got a rejection letter. It was 83. then this DJ that I worked with said, well, now they're doing this. There were 37 channels on Cablevision when it started, really 36. There was nothing on Channel 1. And we used to have that box with the toggle switches and the long wire that led to your television. And don't trip on the wire, don't
Right.
trip on the wire. And Chuck Dolan, in his wisdom, God bless him for the opportunities on Long Island, God rest his soul. Chuck Dolan said, nobody is ever going to get everything that's on 36 channels. So we went on television at night, 2 minutes to the hour, 2 minutes to the half hour to say, listen, if you stay with us, we called it Studio 14. It was on a blank channel, 14. And if you stay with us during the course of the month, you're not going to miss those HBO movies. You're not going to miss it. And he plotted out the whole month, and every night we would talk about something. So here I am, I'm working in the building. And now I find out, and working in the building because of Ray White, the DJ, who opened the door for me. And then I hear that Chuck Dolan is now going to start the world's first 24-hour regional news network. I'm the only woman anchoring full-time radio on Long Island, and I'm already working at night at Cablevision, doing the Studio 14 thing 2 or 3 nights a week.
So at that point, is CNN a 24-hour? Is that
CNN had just happened.
So that's
and
happening.
everybody warned Chuck. Chuck Dolan said, well, the heck with Brooklyn and the Bronx, let's do Babylon.
Right.
You know, the heck with, the heck with whatever, New Jersey, like let's do Long Island news. And everybody warned him, don't do it in the shadow of New York City. It'll never work. It'll never work. Well, after a year, we were already being duplicated by News 1 in New York, and then there was News 8 in Massachusetts. We were duplicated within the first 2 years, I'd have to say at least 4 times. Orange County, California, was insane what had happened.
Right.
So anyway, Chuck Dolan is starting this. I come in September. It's Labor Day for an interview. I'm interviewed. This is awesome. The news director seemed to really like me. I don't get the job. But I'm working in that same building 2 or 3 nights a week, sharing the makeup room with the people, the women who are going to work at News 12.
So News 12 goes live. When is this?
December of 20.
No. not
December of. It ended in a 6. So December of 86. December of 86.
It
I
hits
think.
the air.
Hits the air without me. But I'm sharing that makeup room
Got it.
with those other women. What do? I do the same thing that I've done before.
Yeah.
Put my nose down.
Be of
I keep
service.
Working. I'd be of service. I'm invited now to represent radio in a debate between 3 media people versus
On camera.
3. It's at the Nassau Bar Association.
Okay.
So the Law Association for all Nassau lawyers. It's a big debate. 3 attorneys versus radio person, a television person, and a Newsday reporter. I know nothing about whether microphones and cameras belong in courtrooms. So what do? I spend 6 weeks in a law library that I had access to. 6 weeks after work, I would do that. And on 2 or 3 of those nights, I would also go to work at Studio 14. I show up. I still have the folder. I wish I'd brought it today. I made mimeographs.
Yeah, you're the most prepared in the room.
All these little tabs on it. So we would start to debate on cameras and microphones in the courtroom, and then the attorneys would say something. And in the beginning, I was saying, well, actually, in the 1977 case of, and I pulled the little tab, and I read the court's decision, whether it's state Supreme Court, whether it's the U.S. Supreme Court, and I'm reading all this. And at the end of it, an assistant district attorney on that side, Steve Scaring, came up to me and said, I had to tell you, you kicked our asses. You did your homework. You could cite actual case law. And you have an amazing voice. Why aren't you on that News 12? This is 3 months later. It's March. They went on the air in December. It's now March. Why aren't you on News 12? And I looked at the man next to me, and he was the new news director. Yeah. He was not the one who had not hired me in September. He was the new news director. And I said, I'll have my tape and resume on your desk tomorrow. And I was literally hired the next day, and I was anchoring 6 days later. And I'm going to tell you and show you what I brought.
What do you got?
This is, and I'm not sure where I'm going to show. This is my first rejection letter from Cablevision in that 1983.
Amazing.
That 1983. It is in the broken frame.
Where has that been
I
hanging
put-
all these years?
It is hung in every office I have ever been in. And it says, "Dear Carol, thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to audition for Cablevision's new show. We have made our choices, and although you are not selected," and that's as far as I've ever read.
Yeah, good.
That was
You
it.
don't need to get any further than that.
No, that was it. But when I go and I tell this story, I also bring
Yeah,
the first Emmy,
the hardware.
the hardware that proves that no, it's just the first round of negotiations. And if you are told no to something, that you should just keep being your best. That's it. Out of spite, don't go screw them. Just keep being your best. Go sit in a law library alone for 6 weeks. And that way you will kick ass at the
Sometimes
attorneys.
6 years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
sometimes
and
6 years.
and sometimes a lot more than that.
Yeah. There is a personality that can go forward still after the no. There is a personality that should not. There are some people, when they get the no, they should listen to it because somebody's being honest and somebody's trying to give them a helpful opinion. And some people have delusional thoughts about their potential. Let's just put it that way. Some people have thoughts about their potential and they don't listen to the valuable advice being given to them.
But when you're told no, like your 5th grade teacher
No,
told you
it's-
no,
right.
that you don't deserve it. I don't know if you saw the outrage on my face
Mm-hmm.
in the beginning. Like, was he telling you you're worthless? And
No.
he wasn't telling you
I
that.
didn't earn
he
it.
was telling you hadn't earned
Yeah,
that.
work harder and you could go.
So there are lessons in no's
Mm-hmm.
if we decide to use them. There was a lesson in no from my parents about going to Fairfield because frankly we couldn't afford it.
Listen, I'm in an industry where I'm trying to find my way into a lot of rooms. I'm getting no every day.
Yeah.
I'm getting no every day. I'm having a guest on the podcast soon, and I don't want to say who it is.
Okay.
If I showed you, if I'm being honest, and I'm not even going to exaggerate, it was 19 unanswered emails. Not even a response. So what could usually happen for 2-3 emails and you go, they're not responding. So what did I do? I started to explain in each podcast and in each email, I said, in the email, the one right before I said, what a hypocrite I would be asking you to be on the day I almost quit podcast if I quit messaging you.
Yep.
So I am going to just keep messaging. And you could say no, which would be great. I would appreciate the answer, but I'm just going to keep emailing. And I'm just taking 18, 19 emails. Then I got
A response.
contact my manager. That's all I need. Give me a little something. And even if it didn't come to fruition, I didn't get the person, I was not going to stop because I figured at some point this guy's going to sit there and go, geez,
I've got to say
I gotta
yes,
answer.
So you stop calling me. So
I
you
got to
stop texting
answer the
me.
guy. Like at this point, just get him to stop. Yeah. So I'm not, if it's something I feel I need to be involved with, I'm not going to stop. But it's also all right. At my age, in my 20s, there's a reason I didn't start making cakes in my 20s. I was not prepared mentally, emotionally. I was a different.
You would not have taken the no's well.
No, I was the
Yeah.
guy. And listen, in my late 30s with kids, I was a different human being. I was flipping bicycles over in the driveway if I pulled in after work. I was breaking game boards if they left the game. Like I was a tense, a very short fuse, ready to snap kind of guy.
I remember what you did at the end of the Buddy the
Yeah,
Pig.
yeah. I did not react well, and thank God they edited 90% of it out because
Yeah.
I lost my mind.
Yeah.
It was so important to me. I couldn't. And they listen. These reality shows, they put you under such pressure,
Right.
stress. No food. It's freezing cold in the studio, and it's for $100,000. And at that point, you know, I had no money in the bank. I had ran through my savings, and there was a younger man's. I had a quick fuse. I'm so calm now, and I'm a different human. There was a reason my path went, you know, this other way, and it took me till I was 41. There's a reason, and you were a young person in this position, equipped to handle it, I would assume, or you would have been removed from the air. You were an on-air personality, unless you were great at faking it.
Well, my kindergarten report card had all A's and E's, so all
Right.
real good and
Classic
excellence,
underachiever.
and
Yeah.
right, and one handwritten comment. Miss Kylie, God rest her soul,
Talks
wrote,
too much. What?
"No,
Oh,
she just wrote, she loves to talk."
yeah.
And I spent my
That's
life
good.
getting
Yeah,
paid to talk,
Thank God.
but to talk about other people's stories. I don't talk much about me.
Well,
I talk
you
about
guys-
other people's stories.
The beauty of News 12 was funny. I mentioned Lord of the Flies, right? You're familiar with the book Lord
Yeah,
of the
sure.
Flies? You guys were on an island by yourself at News 12 a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Left to produce the segment, where to put the camera, what we're talking about. And we all knew you guys.
Yeah.
All of you spoke about your personal life, which I don't know if that's happening on other news programs. You guys did speak about your life.
We were family.
We knew what was going on.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
we
Well,
knew.
when I say I don't like to talk, that I don't talk
Yeah.
about me, I don't mean that I don't reveal and I keep it
Yeah.
all, but it's not about me.
No, I get it.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, yeah.
That it's not,
You guys made it like we were all in a living room together every
Yeah.
morning. Yeah.
People
Which,
still tell me that. It's 6.5 years. And I was somewhere the other day and a woman said, "Oh my God, we miss you so much." I mean, it happens all the time. And then if anybody sees all three of Charlie's Angels together,
right. Oh my God, they lose their mind.
it's true.
Yeah, they lose their mind. I have a picture. I should have printed it up. It's me with the first day I was on.
Yep.
With the four of you, with all the cakes on the table
Yep.
that I had brought. A question I want to ask you is, I want to go back because you had said you said it when we were talking about your diagnosis, and it's just been ringing in my head the whole time. You never even let the thought of it not being okay enter your mind.
No.
You never let it
No,
enter.
but it's not that I didn't let it. I didn't put up the gate for it. It wasn't there.
It didn't happen.
It didn't exist.
So here's my question. And something religious, spiritual, from someplace else, a voice came out and you said, yeah.
It was a knowledge. It was a knowing.
Do you think, so here's my part two to the question. Do you think you will know when that's not going to be the case? Do you think?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. But here's what I say. I say, it could be tomorrow, and I'm ready to walk into God's arms. I'm ready to walk into God's open arms, and so I don't worry about when it is.
I only ask because I've been in places with people that you saw them go, yeah, I'm okay. Like,
Yeah, but I'm okay.
right. No, but
like
they,
but right now, I would be okay. You know what? My son has a new amazing girlfriend, so maybe I want to. So
Let's
maybe I
stick it
want to
out.
see that.
Let's stick it out.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I'm about to become a grandmother for
Don't-
the first
not
time,
yet.
so
Yeah.
I would like to see those things at least get started.
yeah, I'm just at an interesting place with religion in my life, and I don't talk about it a lot, but I'm at an interesting place where I'm starting to realize. For a long time, I thought things just happened.
Mm-hmm.
This is how this world works. Things just happen, and you react or don't react. And I understand now. It's not just happening. This stuff is not just happening around us. There is a grand plan that's being played out, and I think a lot of my calmness has come from not being this lone wolf. I'm going to be the gladiator, take on this thing by my... Very, very rarely I should say never do I feel alone ever again. I don't feel alone ever anymore.
Yeah.
I don't ever feel alone anymore. I'm in a room by
And I
myself.
get that. I
Yeah.
get it.
I don't ever feel like I'm by myself. And
Yeah.
I'm grateful for whoever.
For whoever, whatever.
I get a little.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah, because it's,
what
I
you
relate
call
it. I relate it to my grandmother and the great women in my life that passed, my aunt, and who look out for me my whole life. They told me, you have an angel. There is something on this kid's shoulder. My aunt would tell me, there is something on this kid's shoulder. He goes through the wildest shit and comes out unscathed. Like, I was a trouble, like I would get in trouble. And my aunt would say, I don't know who's looking out for this kid, but I realize now, yeah, I'm not doing this. I work hard, yes. Do I work harder than anybody else on Long Island with a bit? Probably not. We're all working hard. Do I try and be the best father I can? Yeah. Am I the best dad? No. The best husband? By far, I am not the best anything. But for some reason, somebody's paying attention to me and allowing me. I was given one real strong gift from a little kid as an artist. I could create art from crayons, pencil, pen, paper, my drum set, cake. I was given, some people it's math, some people it's
not me.
the gift of speaking publicly. I was given one gift as a kid, very young, art, and I'm able now to still feed my produce
Right.
an income. Like, this is a different kind of gratitude that I have to the universe. Like, I am beyond grateful. I know you feel the same way. I would see it on people like you and it would look foreign. That's why the message you were selling I thought was bullshit. Like,
Oh, my husband calls me not Cinderella. What does he call me? Whatever, some like dream girl
Yeah.
off somewhere.
I thought when I would encounter people like you, I'd go, full of shit. These people are so full of shit. Holy roller. I don't use these terms anymore because I found my way into whatever this knowing is. I'm not a regular churchgoer. I don't go light a candle. Like, I'm very, I have a hard time with cemeteries. I don't like a cemetery. My mother used to get upset with me that I wouldn't go visit my grandmother in the cemetery. And my answer to my mom is, my grandmother is in her bedroom in the house I grew up in that I go in all the time.
Yeah.
I'm going to go look at this stone.
Yep.
She's not there for me.
Right.
For my mom's generation, the cemetery is a very important place. They go, my mom cleans it, and it's an important place for her. For me, it's not. I could never connect. I felt odd, like going. I can go in my grandmother's room in Whitestone, in my mom's house that I grew up in, still there. I go in my grandmother's bedroom, which is still exactly the same.
Yep.
There's a cross on the wall, a wooden cross that was there my whole life. And I'm not ashamed to say it. Every time I leave, I think I'm going to take it. I'm going to steal this cross. I'm taking this cross. And I thought, you know what? This thing's been there long before I was alive. Let me just leave this cross.
I'm going to leave it for now.
I'm going to leave it where it is.
I'm going to leave it for now, but I'd like to have it
I
eventually.
acknowledge it when I'm there. I'll say a little prayer to it. I'll touch it. I go to my grandmother's room, but that's where I go to talk to my grandmother. But
Yeah.
I used to think your messaging was TV Sunday morning evangelical nonsense. But once you now see your children or adults and you get through, friends of yours get through impossible health things, and my mom is 83, still sharp, you realize this is not nonsense. This is something going on here that I have acknowledged, and it has brought me a calm that is coming at the perfect time for me.
And here's my, and I'm so glad to hear you say that, because it's just peace. And I'm going to guess that you are more inclined to make decisions to be more patient, to be kinder. Like, that's what it is. When you say, I choose not to be alone, then you do have somebody with you. And I'm not telling anybody you have to be a Catholic, you have to
Right.
go to confession. You don't have to
Whoever
be.
the energy is for you.
But I mean that is the language that I learned growing up. So I know how to experience and express the spiritual part of who I am, which is the biggest part.
I was hearing that message as well growing up. Was not, my receiver was not open to
Yeah,
receive it. I just didn't,
and
I didn't feel lucky. I just didn't feel like if this was really what this was, this was not be the hand I was dealt.
yeah, but see, there are things that happened in my life, and that was the thing that was where my salvation was. That was where it wasn't like, oh well, this happened,
Yeah.
and now, forget it. How could this happen, God? Just like the rejections from the schools, these other things, these lessons have taught me how to be a better person. I don't want to be like that. I don't want to do that. It's also taught me forgiveness. I'm big on forgiveness right now because when you forgive, it's not that you're saying that never happened. You're erasing it. You're saying that I forgive you because I don't want to carry the burden anymore. And I mean, just saying that is, I'm telling you, it's an unbelievable experience to say, I went and had a mass said for somebody who needed some forgiveness in my life. I went and I had a mass said for them in their home parish. And I just remember feeling after that, like, you know what? Like it's not like those memories aren't all erased, but like, that's pretty good. I feel a little lighter. I'm not carrying that. I mean, Oprah says,
You put the bag down.
deciding to hate someone or, hold on to those memories is like you taking the poison pill and hoping the other person dies.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm kind of done with that now. And it's just freeing.
My barometer now for me is on any decision, personal, professional, how are the important people around me going to be affected by this decision?
Yeah.
Alone.
Yeah.
My barometer used to be, how are you going to benefit from this decision? And now my only question to me is, how are the people around me going to benefit? Because if they all benefit, my life is 10 times greater.
And see, for me, like I'll be walking with my husband and I'll see something on the ground. I'll see, post-COVID cancer, whatever, but I'll see something that needs to be picked up that isn't where it belongs. We can be out in public. I don't just bring back my shopping cart. I'll bring back another shopping cart because those things fill me up. They fill me up.
You're not doing
They
it because
make-
somebody's watching you. No.
No, but they make me, and that's more, I'm feeding myself more positive stuff. And those are the small kinds of, once you start to see those things and you know it, once you start to recognize that stuff and do more and do better and be better, it's like, oh, this feels pretty good. And then you want to do more of it. And it builds on itself. It truly builds on itself. I was on a panel at Friends Academy recently, and it was 2 alum of the school and one of their teachers and me. And at the very end, the students asked, what's like the one lesson that you'd like to leave us with that, we haven't already discussed? And the young man next to me said, I think the most valuable lesson that I've ever learned is from my mother. And she taught us from the time we were this big, just lead with empathy. Lead with empathy. And I think about that and I think, wow, if somebody's cranky, if somebody in the store is cranky, it's like, it stops me to think, I wonder what their life is like.
Yeah.
Like what happened?
The lady nasty to you in front of you online, she doesn't care who you are. And you don't know what her kid is going through, what her mom with dementia is going through, who she hasn't recognized. You don't know what the person. So, yes, was she nasty to you? Yeah, she was probably nasty.
Yeah.
She doesn't know you. You're never going to see this person again.
Right.
You got to realize we're all going through some shit, man.
Amen.
All at the same time.
Yes.
We're all going through it at the same time. Nobody wants to give anybody any grace anymore. Nobody's graceful with anybody. Everybody's quick. I mean, could the light turn green and the horn is being blown behind? Could it? I mean, it's almost like the light is hooked to the guy's steering wheel behind you. I pull out of my parking lot on Jericho Turnpike,
Yeah.
right? It's
very fast traffic.
so there's a red light right there
Yep.
at Sweet Hollow Road,
Yep.
which is kind of funny that the cake shop is on the corner of
Oh,
Sweet
that's
Hollow Road,
hysterical.
right? So I'll look at the person like, can I get in? And they go, they're not even looking, they're not letting you in.
They're ignoring you.
They are not going to let you in
Yeah.
because I don't know why, but I'm not going to. Now, I would start screaming out. Now I just go ahead, man. Like, go.
What does Mel Robbins say?
There's a
Let 'em.
reason I'm going to get. I have a problem with that Mel Robinson quote. Let them. Sometimes you can't let them. Sometimes people in your life.
Yeah, sometimes people have to be challenged.
Sometimes you can't let 'em.
But on small things, yes.
Let 'em.
Yes.
Yeah, but that is
But let's
not.
get back to the traffic light. So you used to explode.
Yeah. So now I just go ahead, man.
Yeah.
There's a reason. Somebody is telling me you need to wait a couple seconds. This is also a crazy Italian superstition thing that my family has put into me. If I leave the house and I get in the car and I forget something in the house that I
Yep.
need for work,
Yep.
I will not go back in.
Oh, you won't.
I will not go back in because somebody is telling me, just go. Just go. You should just go. You left it home for a reason. I don't ever think I forgot it and it's an accident.
It's interesting because I would say, and if you go back in, you weren't supposed to go at that time.
No, I'm in
because you might have missed the accident.
No, I always go, there's a reason you left it there. Just keep on moving forward. Just keep on moving forward. And I'll be pissed as I'm driving to work going, I really needed that. And, but I won't. But I've gotten in my own head with it where I go, no. And I pay attention to stuff like that.
Yeah.
I pay attention to the person rushing to get in front. And I go ahead, go right ahead.
Is that because you're also now driving a delivery truck that says the cake done and has all kinds of graffiti?
No, this
on
is
it
in
now?
any vehicle I drive.
just checking.
I am in no rush to get anywhere anymore. I am realizing the good things could happen from not being lagging behind a little bit can lead to some really good stuff. You don't have to be the first. Don't, take a
Yeah.
breath, relax.
Yeah.
Take a breath, relax. The stuff that, listen, I was in the food industry during COVID. The things that we got through,
Yeah.
we were never getting through. And now it's not even a blip on the radar anymore. We don't even remember the doors locked, at the mask, the delivering to people's front stoop. They wouldn't open the door. Just nobody's ever going to blow out a birthday candle ever again.
Wow.
Now think,
Yeah.
so COVID, right? Who was gonna
Banning it.
blow out a birthday candle? The whole industry is ruined. It's not even a blip on the radar. So we get through it and we figure it out. Every day after you got your diagnosis, you thought about your diagnosis. How am I going to get through? How am I beating this? You thought about it. I need to face this. No,
No.
you didn't even think about it.
No, it's not that I didn't think about it, but I didn't worry about it.
Not worry. You were acknowledging it on a daily basis.
Oh, sure.
Now do days go by where you don't even, it's,
Oh, well, first of all, I take a lot of pills. So I have to remember to take the pills. And
Yes.
it's like, okay. But in the beginning, I was taking one little pill, Tagrisso, every day. I take more than that now. But I was taking one little pill, and I would kiss the bottle and say, thank you for saving my life.
thank
and
you
then
for
I
the
would
drug.
take the pill. Yeah.
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I find these things that I would be in a fetal position in bed sweating, the anxiety attacks, they're not even a blip on the radar right now. Yeah, they're not even.
Yeah.
But when you're in it, I mean, the quote, it's the most true quote. The worst thing you've ever been through is the worst thing you've ever been through. It's the only thing you could. I can't get in your head that day. I can't imagine.
Right.
But the worst thing I've ever been through is the worst thing I've ever been through. That's my thing, and I can only judge it on that. That's why these kids, both daughters graduated in 20. One in high school, one in college. Both went through their 4-year college and high school career and no graduate. Like just,
Yeah.
it just almost was.
It's wrong.
It just rolled. It
Yeah.
rolled off a hill.
Yeah.
But I said to them, "You will use this for you to realize now in life. You know what? Wasn't that big a deal?
Yep.
We got through it. We got past it. At the time, you tell my daughter, no prom, no graduation, no, whatever. It was, the world is, you're in a dumpster and it's fully in flames. Now, hopefully they can use it as a tool in their toolbox to get through the next little speed bump hiccup.
Use the skills.
Yeah.
What really matters.
Think about what's in our tool. I mean, your toolbox is way more filled than mine. But think about what's in our toolbox that we pull from all the time. We pull things out all the time that you go, this is very reminiscent of this.
I know how to deal with this.
This guy, you know who he is? He's this guy from 1997. I know how this works. I can spot this, I can spot this giraffe a mile away and I know how to deal with him. And I can also spot people who come in the room and come in my life with Carol Silva energy. I go, come at this lunch table, man. Come sit at this table because, I know that energy. I know it because it's not the norm, my friend. You are not the normal human. You don't give the normal attention. When you ask a question of me, most people are just waiting for me to finish talking so they could just, you pay attention. You've referenced things in this podcast that I've only brought up one or two times in our, but it penetrated because you pay attention. And I try to give things to people that are going through stuff, professional, health, personal life, your marriage with your kids. I just try and give a little something on a daily basis to be in service of people.
Yes.
And it's benefited me as a human being. And it clearly has benefited my business because the message resonates with people. People can see, this guy is not I'm not a used car salesman. I am really just I'm trying to get through life with as few bumps and bruises. And I want to learn from people who have done the same. If you had to give one closing message to somebody who's listening and they're going through it right now, anything, job sucks, got fired, going through a divorce, estranged from a kid, whatever, got the diagnosis in the doctor's office, just to get to tomorrow, we're not beating we don't need a 6-month plan. You don't need they wouldn't know what to do with a 1-year plan. They need a 1-day plan.
Right.
What is the thing we could just give to somebody to just say, for today, we got to get you to tomorrow? Like, what is the mantra? What is your processes that you went through, that you use still, that could help anybody in any trauma situation? They're going through a traumatic thing, and what is it you think somebody could benefit from at that point?
We all have trouble. We all do. People on television, famous bakers, we all have problems. And I said it before, every time you have a challenge that especially hits you in the stomach, hits you in the gut, on the gut level. When I was in University of Dayton for that one semester, I worked in the education department for the dean of the education department. And she taught me something. For every negative thing that ever happens in life, or every negative thing you ever say to a child, find 7 positive things. Don't make up crap, but find 7 positive things. And I would say the same for every thing that you consider negative that happens to you, a rejection letter from a college or from a job or whatever. for every negative thing that happens, find at least 3 good things in your day. Find at least 3 good things in your day, because they're there. And when we repeat the negative over and over and over again, we put our body through a physical process as if that negative thing has happened, as if that trauma has happened. That's literally how your body responds to it. And so if you have that negative thought, you have a choice. Your thoughts become your words, and your words become your deeds, and your deeds become your behavior, and your behavior becomes your habit, and your habits become your character. So be careful of the words you choose to repeat to yourself.
I mean, what else are we going to do? That's it. That is it, Carol Silva. I love you.
I love you.
I am grateful for your friendship, and I am so happy you sat down to do this. And yeah, that's it.
Love it.